Hello and welcome to the Theological Family Ministry Podcast, a podcast for parents as well as children's ministry leaders. We are dedicating to showing how theological study and biblical application impact the discipleship of children. As always, we're hosted by myself, Pastor Tony Trisoni, the family pastor at Westminster Baptist Church in Westminster, Maryland, as well as Ben Palas, the family and discipleship pastor at Curtis Baptist Church in Augusta, Georgia. In this episode, we are joined by Sheri and Frank, who are Christians who work with the hearing impaired and deaf all across the globe. We will be primarily talking with Sheri, but as Sheri is deaf, her husband Frank will be speaking out her answers. We hope this episode is a special encouragement to all of those who are raising uniquely challenged servants of God in the church as well as in the home. We also want to apologize for the sound quality in this episode, as we experienced a myriad of technological issues. But nonetheless, we hope you're able to listen and be blessed by the podcast. Well, thank you for joining us, Sheri and Frank. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves, who you are, and how the Lord is using you? Do you think of yourself as being handicapped or disabled, Sheri?
First off, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm deaf. I was born deaf. I'm from the South.
Mac and cheese.
Tennessee.
All
right.
I grew up deaf. My family were all hearing. My family are all believers. Of course, we went to church every Sunday. Of course, understanding a lot of my time was spent going back and forth to the school for the deaf, the residential school for the deaf, where I stayed during the week. Weekends, I'd come home. I'd be back and forth from the school as well as being home. And I grew up that way. Aunts and uncles. I was involved with Sunday school, a lot of relationships, until I was about age 14, when I started learning more about Jesus, but I was starting understanding more because I was at the school for the deaf. And at that time, I accepted Jesus as my Savior, and it was very clear to me. Of course, I continued to seek. Now understand, I've got a twin sister. She's hearing and I'm deaf. And I kept asking the Lord, why am I deaf? And I considered this and studied my Bible until it finally came to me in a story from John chapter 9, verses 1 to 3. And it says, as he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Neither this man nor his parents sinned, said Jesus, but this happened so that the work of God might be displayed in his life. And when that story really hit me, and then I realized God made me for his glory, and that I could accept, and I could serve him. Family helped me, my deaf friends, other believers that were older, they helped me. Family at church, the pastor. I also went to a church where the pastor could sign. And then later on, as I got into college, I was involved with the Baptist Student Union. That's what it was called back then. And that really opened up more and more opportunities to me. An opportunity to serve as a US-2 worker in Maryland. And it was hard. But God continued to train me and prepare me for future service, for something I wasn't quite sure. And then I met Frank in Maryland. He was also interested in missions. And that's how we got connected. And we were married. Then it seemed the Lord was opening up the door to serve internationally. So that's how we connected with other deaf people. That's what we do now. We go to other places. We've been on the field for about 15 years now. The word handicapped is something that's not really a popular word in the deaf community. But of course that word shows up quite a bit. Hearing impaired or hearing challenged. A lot of phrases are used for handicapped. Oftentimes a lot of hearing people refer to us as handicapped, disabled. But that's not a part of my vocabulary. Impaired has the concept of it something being broken. I'm not broken. So when people refer to me as being impaired, I sort of laugh at that because I'm not impaired. I'm not handicapped. I'm just like everybody else. but I'm deaf. And that's who I am. That's my identity. My experiences are as a deaf woman. That's who I am. And that's who God has made me to be.
So, Sheri, what was it like growing up as the only deaf member of your family?
My parents didn't realize I was deaf until I was about 2 years age. My parents at that point were, trying to get my attention. Oftentimes, I'd always cue off of my sister. Just a call, my sister would look, and then I'd cue off of that, and they thought I was just like everybody else. Then I was by myself. They realized I was deaf. And that's when they started doing oral and oral training with me. Ever since until I was about ages 4 and 5. Of course, around the house, they put labels on everything: TABLE, DESK. For family life, I was always an equal among my siblings. There was no other idea, she's deaf. Shame, that's too bad. No, we played, we fought, we did all kinds of things together. We were brothers and sisters. We were different words, labeling, everything, so I could connect a word with an object. And of course, I was also learning to pass notes back and forth. But then at age 6, I started going to the deaf school. And then I started learning signs. Of course, I'd be home on the weekends. I was just like everybody else. We fought, played. We had a big time together, siblings growing up. I had a great childhood.
Most people can't identify with your situation, but to hear that in many ways it was a normal childhood, and you enjoyed your growing up years.
Yes, very much.
It's a blessing from the Lord.
Of course, I also grew up on a farm, so we had a lot of things to do there. We also had cousins and other family all around. We'd get together, grandparents' houses on Sundays, and just one big happy family. One kid got sick. We all got sick.
That's how it goes.
Were you happy growing up deaf?
Oh, yeah. Of course, I never really thought of it as a bad thing. I'm deaf. Yeah, but of course, one story I did need to share. Back in the 1970s and the 80s, they had that thing called a cochlear implant that was becoming more and more in the news. My father saw an advertisement in the parade section of the newspaper. My father was reading, and he came up, and he thought, she could become hearing with this thing. So he showed me the article. He had me read it. I was a teenager at that time. So I read it, and I said, Dad, do I look like I'm not happy? My father said, he smiled, says, no. And he folded it. He never asked me again.
So you have a twin sister. Do you see yourselves as being more different or more alike?
We're really very similar. She speaks and she hears. I don't. Sometimes, I'm saying, she can get together with a lot more people or she can hear the TV. Of course, back then, we didn't have the captions. I can't hear music. So sometimes those thoughts come to mind. It's normal. I'm like anybody else. I didn't think anything was wrong with it. But of course, you have to understand, we're identical twins. And sometimes people have a hard time distinguishing who was me and who was my sister. And oftentimes we take advantage of that as well.
I'm sure.
What were some of the challenges growing up deaf?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I would feel isolated. I was by myself. Or I didn't feel connected the way I thought others felt connected. That was a challenge. And not many people signed. They talked to me, and that was very hard, trying to distinguish different people, because not everyone talks the same way. Their lips look different. So that was frustrating growing up. That was a challenge. TV, there was limited. One fun thing about there not being captions was I could just sort of guess at what was going on. I'd act it out myself. For example, there was a movie. Everybody was watching it. There was the deaf would get together, and sometimes they'd watch movies together, and other hearing people might be around, but they'd laugh at things. And the hearing people going, why in the world were they laughing at that? That's not funny. And then other times, the hearing people would laugh at things, and the deaf would go, why are they laughing? Because that's not really funny.
Yeah.
And that's just an example of growing up deaf.
That's interesting. The things that I would not have thought of, but
Definitely.
Deaf are visually catching what hearing people might call slapstick or visually funny things that hearing people don't really think about and may not think as being funny. Whereas the hearing people, oftentimes, a lot of our humor is based on squeaky voices or a change in voice or something like that, and the deaf don't hear that, so they don't laugh at them.
Yeah.
And then there's also idioms, things that hearing people are idioms. You try and translate that, it doesn't happen. It doesn't work, just like there are deaf idioms that really don't translate into hearing languages either.
no, I had never thought of that. But that is, I mean, you see that if you're working with translating from one language to another, but I had not thought of it from a sign language to a written or spoken language.
Oh yeah.
How did your parents and Christian leaders help you to see the challenges that you might face as opportunities to serve the Lord?
My parents included me. I went everywhere where they went. I was even involved with choir and music. I wasn't voicing, of course. I was signing the things. In fact, her family, her brothers, her sister, and a cousin, they were singing church, and Sarah standing right next to them, signing the same song that they're voicing. But I was included in everything that everyone else was. Of course, there were interpreters. My sister would help with that, writing notes back and forth. Of course, one of the family, the brothers and sisters and cousins, one of the fun things they enjoyed at church was they're all sitting together, oftentimes in the back, and one of the challenges was to see which cousin or brother or sister could make Sheri laugh. Because there's no interpreter, so they're just doing things like normal kids. And if Sheri laughed, it was hard to hide that.
Nice.
And everybody would look at us and, whoops, and I cut it out.
And how did you also become so skilled in various sign languages that are used in different places in the world?
Again, sign languages. They're languages. And oftentimes there's similarities. The use of space, the hand shapes, facial expressions, the hand shapes or the way you repeat signs. I've also studied, and I have a master's degree in teaching American Sign Language. It's a linguistics degree.
Okay, I see.
Now when I go to other countries, I can see there really are a lot of similarities to the sign languages, whereas the spoken languages, the written languages, are very different. And so it's much easier for me, and that's something that God has given me, and that's one of the tools He's given me to be able to help others know about it.
Wonderful. So, yeah.
Of course, understanding something, one of the myths that people think of is sign language is universal. No, very different. If you were to see it, the sign in Russian, God is love. Well, the sign for love is, or has, in Russian, is the American sign for stop. You can go on YouTube and find a lot of different signs in different languages. Just try to compare them sometimes.
How do you think unique challenges like yours can become strengths in God's service?
I go back to Exodus, chapter 4, verses 10 to 13. Moses said to the Lord, O Lord, I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue. The Lord said to him, Who gave man his mouth? Who makes him deaf or mute? Who gives him sight